Hello everyone. This video is going to be the further explanation of the DDL statements that we discussed in my other video for database fundamentals video 2, which describes all the DDL statements along with the DML statements. So in this video, we would be talking about those 6 DDL statements and giving you a short example of how do we actually use them. Let's get started. So on your left-hand side, there is this object explorer, which holds all the objects that we have in SSMS. So there are databases, security, server objects, replication, database, and so on. But I would be keeping this video a little simple and be dealing only just with the DDL statements. Let's get started. Let's first check the number of databases that we have. So we have system databases, and then we have the list of databases. So I'm not gonna talk about the system databases yet, but we would be touching the other databases. I have quite a few because I kept working here and there with SSMS. So my first DDL statement is use. The use command changes the database context to the specified database or the database snapshot. Like in other words, when you perform commands on a particular database, you will likely to have to enter the use command to select the database. For example, if I want to create a table in a certain database, in one particular database, I have to enter that database. How do we do that? There are two options. First, we need to check like these are the list of databases that are available to us, and the name which is being shown here, the Nugget Demo DB, is the one I'm currently into. If I have to create a table in another database, for example, say AdventureWorks 2012, I have to use that. I have two options in order to write this command. It simply says use and then the database name. So I can either type it, and the moment I start typing it, it gives me the options. I can select from that. One option is this, and the other option is I just go to that database, drag and drop. That's how, and if I execute this statement, just this one, it says command completed successfully. So that's one of the examples of using use in SSMS. Let's move on to the next DDL statement, which is create. In this example, I would be creating a table, which is the planets table, and it holds the columns or the attributes as planet ID, planet name, planet type, radius, and the time created. So the syntax is really simple. We say create table and give it a table name. Table name is planets, and the schema is DPO. You don't have to mention the schema if you don't wish to, but it is always advisable to do so. Then we start the brackets, and we mention all the columns or the attributes. So we have the planet ID, planet name, planet type, radius, and the time created. Next, we mention the data type. So if I hover on this, it says the data type int, and int is integer. So I want the planet ID to be an integer. For the planet name, I want it to be varchar and varchar. Same with the planet type, same with the radius, and the time created, I have chosen the data type as datetime. Now you must be wondering, what is this 50? So these 50 is the range until which you can enter the number of variables or the characters. Next is mentioning if you would want that field to be null or not null. So except the time created, I want every other attribute in my table to be not null. And if you remember, we talked about having a primary key in each of the table that you create in any database. So the primary key in this table is the ID, planet ID. Why? Because it would be unique. Every planet name, every planet would be having its own planet ID. And that way we can reduce the redundancy in a table. If I want to create this table under Adventure Works, so you can see that we are already in Adventure Works 2012 database. If I go ahead, I can create in it. If I want to choose any other database from the list, we can do so. Or if you want to create your own database, we can do that as well. The syntax would be create database, and then we give a name to the database. Let's say testDB. One thing I want you to notice here is how this creates a batch. But we have two statements within this batch of create. If I want to segregate this batch, I will write go, and that way it segregates the batch. So if you wish to create this database testDB, go ahead, create on your own, and you can create a table. But I don't wish to create at that moment, at this point of time. I would be going ahead and creating this table Adventure Works and execute. So it says the command completed successfully. Next, alter. So while creating the table in Adventure Works planets, I forgot to add one column. So I would go ahead and alter the table planet in order to add another column. And the syntax would be alter table, the table name, and what do you want to add? Add, give the column the attribute a name, which is color, and I want to give it a data type. If you wish, you can also mention if this would be null or not null. And at this point of time, we might not know the color of a planet, so I'm gonna go ahead with null. Again, if you want to execute it at this point of time, done. It was created successfully. Now, next is drop. The drop statement actually removes an object from a database. But if other objects are dependent on the object you're attempting to remove, the statement will fail and an error will be raised. For example, if I want to remove a table called person contact type in the database Adventure Works 2012. So here we have the person contact type. If I wish to drop this table, it should give me an error saying it is referenced by a foreign key constraint. So that is the reason why I cannot delete it. The next DDL statement that we have is delete and truncate. You need to remember that the delete statement is used to delete rows from a table, but it will not free up the space containing the table. And whereas truncate is also used to delete the rows from a table, but it will free up the space containing the table. So for this demo, I want to use another database of mine. And for this demo, I would be using database Nugget Demo DB. So I'm just going to drag and drop and execute this. Now, if you go ahead and look at the tables that I already have within this database. So let's select product. I want to see what all data I have in product. So select all from products. If I go ahead and execute it, it will show that I have the product ID, name, and the price. For example, if I wish to delete the product ID, the gloves from the products table, how would I do that? I would simply write delete from, what's the name of the table? Products. But I have to give the SSMS parameter on which it can recognize the item that I need to, the object that I need to delete. So if you look at the gloves ID, it was product ID number 5. So if I write delete from product where product ID equals 5 and execute it. It says 4 rows affected. And if I go back and select from the products again, it only shows me 4 products. So that was it with the DDL statements. And keep watching, keep looking out for the space, and I would be adding more videos with the lab work and some practice tests as well. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and keep learning. Thank you.